Ike and Tina Turner with Nutbush City Limits, which is a song that's very important in the life of Bonnie Tyler, who's with me now. Hi, Bonnie. How are you?
Hi, it's lovely to see you again.
I know, a year after last year.
Can you believe it's a year already?
Just before, we will talk about Eurovision, but as we get towards the end of our hour together. But Eurovision was a good thing for you. You enjoyed it. You had a lovely time.
I did enjoy it. I have to say, I wasn't particularly looking forward to that much, but I did. I had a great time.
Yeah, you entered into the spirit of it beautifully, if I may say so.
You got to, you know, if you're going for it, go for it.
And you did. You went for it. Well, now, let's go back. Let's just think about Nutbush City Limits, because that song means it's important in your past.
Yes, I was a resident singer in a club in the 60s, late 60s, and a talent scout from London came in while I was singing that song, and he told Ronnie Scott, not Ronnie Scott the jazz man, another Ronnie Scott, who was writing songs, and they were looking for a girl, and I came up to London and made some demos, because the guy heard me singing Nutbush City Limits.
Right, but he'd come in to hear somebody else.
Yes, he came in. I was in a club where there was 2 floors, and there was a band upstairs, and there was a guy with a fabulous voice upstairs. But he came in on the wrong floor, and he heard me singing. He went to listen to the guy as well, but I got the lucky break.
You were the one he picked. You'd been singing a long time, though.
I've been singing since 1969, full time, like. You know.
But you've been singing around the house. I mean, there was a lot of that, wasn't it? I mean, it was a musical household, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a big musical household. 3 sisters, 2 brothers, and we were all into music. My mother was an incredible opera singer, and there was always music in the house. Always music, It was never like, shh, the baby's crying. There was always music going, It was embedded in us.
And music of different types.
Yes, different types. My eldest sister was into, Marlene she loved like Matt Monroe and Frank Sinatra and things like that. My brother then was into Eddie Cochran, Elvis Presley. My other sister then, the Beatles, and my other sister Angela, my sister then Avis was like the Motown. I was more into Janis Joplin and Tina Turner, Joe Cocker, that sort of thing, And I got a young brother that's a brilliant singer, Paul. He's in a band now. Let's take you back to the club in Swansea, because you had... it was called the Old Townsman.
Okay, and you said you were teamed up with Ronnie Scott, the songwriter.
Yes,
and he and
Steve Wolf, yeah.
They wrote your first...
They wrote... first of all, I recorded a song called My Honeycomb.
Well, why don't we listen to that and hear what that sounded
like? You got it?
We've got it here.
You totally bombed that song, did
Bonnie Tyler singing My Honeycomb.
My God, I haven't heard that for about 30 years.
Your voice was sort of sweet then.
It was sweeter then. Well, I was younger as well.
Yeah, but still
more mature now.
Still recognisably you. I mean, the style, all there right from the start.
Well, right from the start. They called me the female Rod Stewart. I could never understand it, I thought they were talking about the nose or something.
But although it's perhaps a sweeter voice than we would hear a year or two after that, as I say, the style was exactly there. Were you always a big singer? Did you always sing up?
Yes, I've always gone for, like, even my taste in other singers are big singers, really bombastic sort of, and really like Joe Cocker and things like that. But that was my very first time in a studio. I'd never been in a studio before, I was, I think I was 26. Yeah.
So, I mean, you weren't starting out in the business as a wide-eyed teenager, innocent.
I had been singing for 7 years, 6 nights a week, learning my trade, paid all my dues, darling.
Important, very important.
And I did, and I loved it, I loved just being there fronting a band, I first started with Bobby Wayne and the Dixies. I was a Dixie. I was one of the 3 girls singing with Bobby Wayne, who was a fantastic singer, very high-pitched voice, but he could also go very deep, And I was with them for about 18 months, and then I formed my own band, Imagination. Yeah, it was while I was with them in 1974 that somebody, like Roger Bell heard me singing.
Yeah, but you did New Faces round about then, didn't you?
I did New Faces, yeah. And I came 4th out of 7.
That's not great, is it? No, that's a bit That's a bit rude.
My sister Avis, right? Her stage name was Amanda Paul then, and she went on New Faces, and she won one show, right? And then she went through to the All Winners show.
Okay.
And she lost by 1 point. Mickey Most gave somebody else, I don't remember who won it, but my sister was winning the All Winners show, and she only lost it by 1 point. And, we were all totally gutted, But
when you were on, was Mickey Most good to you, was he?
Yeah, but I didn't know Mickey Most then, but on the programme, he said, the girl has got something, but the band are just playing away.
Ooh.
So he was right. I did have something. Yeah.
So New Faces you did, but that didn't that didn't springboard you.
No.
But when the club did,
yeah,
just that one
and I
night.
came up to London and made this demo, which you just played. My Honeycomb. It was released, totally bombed, and then they released Lost in France. And they did an incredible promotion on it, RCA record company. They said, right, they got 50 radio DJs, magazine people, and pluggers and things like that. And they say, right, bring your passport to the airport. We're taking you on a trip. We're not telling you where you go until you get there. So everybody's thinking, where are we going? They'd already flown me over to Le Touquet in a Le Touquet or whatever airport in France, by this little private plane, right? And of course, when they get on the plane, they know they're going to France, don't they? And they were all giving out these sheets, could we be lost in France? Oh, so pathetic, really. I never did think of it. But it worked. Yeah. And it went to number 1 in Germany, it went to number 9 here, and it springboarded my career internationally then, And
it's still being played today?
Yeah.
Bonnie Tyler, Lost in France. Great song and great success.
Yeah.
Huge one, wasn't it?
It was a good song of the 70s, yeah.
And that got you a Brit Award?
Yes.
Yeah. Best British Newcomer.
That's right.
Strange to think of it now, but you're a newcomer and nobody...
I was only 26 then. The numbers are turning round for 62 in June. But,
But it's strange to think that nobody had heard you before that. Nobody really much knew anything about you. So that kick-started everything for you.
That did, yeah.
There was an album. You were still working with Ronnie Scott.
I was 5 years with Ronnie Scott. And after this song was released, we released a song called More Than a Lover. And that was a hit as well. And then after that, I recorded, I did 2 or 3 albums, I think, with Ronnie Scott.
You did a cover of You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, didn't you?
I did,
yeah. Good version.
And when I was because I toured in America as well, because that was after It's a Heartache. And with the girl that wrote Natural Woman, Carol King.
Yeah. Carol King.
And she came to one of my shows in Los Angeles.
Oh, blimey.
I know.
Is that daunting? When somebody as famous as that?
It was, but she was really nice. She complimented me on the version of it,
Did it bother you that maybe nowadays people only ever play a certain number of your songs? And you think there are some better songs that could be, or some really good songs that are not being heard? Well,
of course. I'm sure I'm not the only one who could wish you play some of the new stuff, But everybody loves to hear the old stuff.
They do.
But the new album is great,
Well, we'll get right to talking about that a little bit later on, but we've got a single here called Heaven. So that was, about 1977, was that?
Round about then. And, it was a big success in Europe. I'm not sure how successful it was here.
There was a story that the record company, your record company at the time, because Elvis died that year, and they ploughed all the resources into putting Elvis's back catalogue out there.
Yeah, well, it would have been because there was RCA and he was on the same record label. I was so thrilled to be on the same record label, to be able to say, you know, I'm on the same record label as Elvis Presley, you know. I never got to meet him, though, you know.
No, well, he never came over here, of course, and by the time you were on the label, it was probably too late to go and see him, really. Shall we have a listen to that? Because this was the one that got away, in a sense, wasn't it? This was a good record.
I like this song, actually.
A good record.
I know I don't take you to heaven anymore.
Yeah, well, let's hear it. Bonnie Tyler singing Heaven. You're listening to Bonnie and me, Ken Bruce, on BBC Radio 2 Eurovision, our pop-up service available on digital radio. It's also available on the website and on the BBC iPlayer radio app. We're here on air until Sunday night with everything you ever wanted to know about this year's Eurovision Song Contest. And there must be a lot of that people do want to hear, Bonnie, don't you think?
Yes.
I know, especially you who did so well for us last year in the Eurovision Song Contest.
I don't know about that, but I enjoyed it.
You flew the flag for us. Heaven was the track we played there. That was on Natural Force, that album.
Yes.
That second album.
Yeah.
And
that album, Natural Force, became a hit in America as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, this is the thing, isn't it? Because very often something you've done has been huge in one territory and not in another.
Yeah.
And it's odd, that, isn't it? How, it's all great stuff, and why doesn't it just click with some places?
Yeah, I was lucky. It crossed over into the country charts in America as well.
Yeah, there was a kind of country edge to some of the songs you were singing at that time. Was that a deliberate thing, or was that just the way?
Well, Ronnie Scott and Steve Walsh, they were like country rock writers, I believe, you know, and that. When I wanted to change my direction later on in my career, I do, obviously. I go to it with Jim Steinman. But then I came back again with the new album. Well,
this is probably, it's reflected in your childhood and your upbringing, because every type of music was there. There's no one right and one wrong, you know.
Well, I've never really put myself into one bag, you know. I'd sing the blues, I sing rock and power ballads and country, you know.
Got to get the variety there.
Yeah.
So It's a Heartache. That was really quite a country song, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
And let's just talk about the voice as well, because we mentioned earlier on the sort of sweeter voice, but you had a bit of vocal trouble at one time.
I had nodules on my vocal cords in 1977, I think it was, and I had the operation to have them scraped off, and I couldn't be quiet. I talked too much.
Because after you've had that, you're supposed to just say nothing, aren't you?
Absolutely nothing. Write everything down. But it's you just can't, you know. And it was impossible. In the end, I was like screaming out of frustration, and it made my voice slightly more husky than it already was, which wasn't a bad thing.
No, not at all, actually. It kind of just finished the voice off, really, wasn't it? I mean, because beforehand, it was a kind of a work in progress, was it? Maybe. And then when this happened, there's the complete package. That's the Bonnie Tyler voice.
What's happened to your voice? Where did that come from?
We'll hear a lot more of that, but first of all, let's have a bit of It's a Heartache.
Yeah.
It's a Heartache. It's still great to hear, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And when I arrived in America, there was limo outside waiting for us and everything. You know, years ago, it was all limos. Now, these days, they're all going to...
You're on the bus now.
Yeah, well, no. These days they're only used for hen parties and children's proms, and you know. But anyway, we got in this limo, and It's a Heartache was on. Then I turned the station, you know, like thousands of stations in America, and I turned in the dial, and there it was on another station. And it was incredible, you know.
Must have been a great feeling.
No, it was. Yeah. It was amazing. I was run off my feet, though, doing interviews. I had to get up like sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning and have breakfast with journalists, like in, the Pink Hotel, the Beverly Hills Hotel and things like that. And, there'd be all those all these actors sitting around him, and I'd be doing an interview over breakfast. I had to get up at 5 to wash my hair, to get that. That took an hour. Anyway, interviews all day long then, right? And then in the evening, I was supporting Tom Jones in the Greek Theatre in Los Angeles, So it was like...
Non-stop.
Absolutely non-stop, bit like the Eurovision.
That's it. It's a non-stop experience. You're always working at Eurovision. That must have been, just thinking of that lineup, Tom Jones and you on the same bill. That's quite a night.
It was great. And then we all went out for dinner afterwards, it was fabulous. Oh, he's amazing. And I mean, he was a hell of a lot younger then and sexy, and I mean, he's still sexy.
Of course he is, we'll just say that. Make that quite clear. Still sexy Tom, still got it.
But those are the days when they used to be throwing the knickers at him,
Right, yeah.
They don't do that anymore now.
Should hope not. But your time there, this first taste of success in America, must have been a really great thing to feel.
It was unbelievable, yeah. And, my husband, Robert, I'd be like out rehearsing and doing interviews everywhere, and I'd be given all this champagne, and he'd be down by the pool and they used to call him Champagne Boy, he'd be down by the pool drinking the champagne. I'm like, oh, you lucky. You lucky boy.
You lucky fellow. Yeah, right. Well, since you mentioned Robert, I mean, you've been together for a long, long time, you two, haven't you?
41 years we've been married now in July, come in.
And Robert, he was at the club where you were singing, wasn't he?
Yes,
he was running that, was he?
Yeah, He went to the Olympics as a judo champion. Remember, he third dan black belt, and but he was also running clubs as well. But he was manager when I was doing my first audition, and he slid across the dance floor in front of me, and I thought, who's that?
And here you are all these years later, still together.
Yes, so we've had our ups and downs, but who doesn't?
Well, exactly, but there you are, still together. It's a true romantic story. How lovely. Let's now hear a track that probably a lot of people don't know, called Sitting on the Edge of the Ocean, and that won you a competition, didn't it?
Yes, that was the Yamaha World Song Festival in Tokyo. And I won it. I was flabbergasted, And Whitney Houston's mother came second.
Sissy
Houston, yeah. And I met Whitney then, and she asked me for my autograph.
Wow.
She was a young little sweet thing then, with the little corkscrew things and glasses, and tall, slim. But she was only about 13 then,
Yeah, well, here's the song that no doubt inspired her to her career. Sitting on the Edge of the Ocean, there's Bonnie Tyler.
Yes.
Singing in the Yamaha Music Festival in Japan, 1979.
And I won it.
Well
and
done.
The Japanese, they take all these pictures, and it was great because they take so many, don't they?
Yeah.
There's as I'm jumping up in the air, I've got every inch of the jump, as it goes up, and I'm like, wow! And you see every frame of the jump, Yeah. Fabulous.
Great moment for you.
Yeah.
Now, let's move to the change in direction. Jim Steinman being the main architect of that.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Well, I kind of architected it myself because I wanted to work with Jim Steinman, and what happened was I went into CBS, Sony, and Muff Winwood, who was working there then as the top PR man, and he said, what direction do you want to go? Who would you like to work with? And I said, well, top of the list would be the people that write for Meatloaf. And I'd heard Batter to Hell on the old grey whistle test, And it was just, I saw him perform that song, and I was like, wow. I wanted to be able to sing songs like that. So Muff just looked at me as if I was crazy, and he said, well, Jim Steinman, he's got that Batter to Hell in #1 in every country, and he's really, probably out of our reach. I said, well, ask him. You can't have anybody if you don't ask, and then see what he says. So they did ask him, and 3 weeks later, I went to meet him, and 3 weeks after that, he's decided, yes, he'd like to work with me, and we had a #1 album all over the world.
And this Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Total Eclipse of the Heart was a monstrous, fabulous song. And when I heard the demo of it, I was just like, oh, this is gorgeous, But I just thought it was too long and it would never be played. And funny thing is, because I was living in America for about 8 months then, and I used to send, like in those days, there was no internet, or, well, if there was, I didn't have it. In 1981, I think it was, something like that. And so I sent postcards home then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I wrote a postcard to my friend, and I'd forgotten all about this, but a couple of months ago she said, look at this postcard. She said, you sent me from New York. And he says, hi Bev, I'm in New York. I recorded a song called Total Eclipse of the Heart today. I don't suppose it'll be played on the radio though, because it's very long, And then went on to talk about other things. So she showed me this. She won't give me the postcard.
No. She's got it.
But they edited it down from about 8 minutes to about 4:50, something like that. And then it got played. And as you know, it went to number one all over the world. It was fabulous.
Let's have a listen.
Incredible.
Let's have a listen. Great song.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and a wonderful Rory Dodd singing the turnarounds, and Todd Rundgren is in there as well, doing backing vocals.
Right, is he playing bass on that? Was he? No. He did sometimes.
Steve I think, was playing bass.
Right, but Todd Rundgren, well, yeah.
Yeah.
He had all the people there, didn't you?
Yes. And the E Street Band, Max Weinberg was the drummer from Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band, and Tony Britton on keyboards from his band.
And that's a song you still sing in concert to this day?
I still sing it. I love singing it. I never get tired of singing it.
You sing it slightly differently now? Or?
I think I sing it better now. It's more... it flows more, Yeah. I've sung it so many thousand times.
but then I suppose you've got experience as well, and it brings that to the song.
Yeah.
Life experience. You were asked, shall we say, no more than that, to do a Bond song round about this time, weren't you?
I know. And I would love to do a Bond song, but the song they offered me was terrible. I didn't like it, so I couldn't do it, just because it was a Bond song, But
a lot of people, this is what marks you out from other people. I think a lot of singers would have said, I'll do it. It doesn't matter if it's a rubbish song, I'll do it anyway, because the kudos, the fame will be so great. But you say, no, it's not right, so I'm not going to do it.
Well, I really didn't believe in the song. And I was right, because it wasn't a hit for whoever did record it afterwards.
It was Never Say Never Again, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
And
I know who
but
the singer was.
I would love to do a Bond song,
but just not that one.
Oh,
and then round about this time, you were asked to do a Eurovision for the first time.
I was, but I couldn't do it then because I was, it was very big. Total Eclipse of the Heart was number one in America and in the UK, so it would have been crazy, But as you know, I did do it last year.
Yeah, you got round to it.
Yes.
But 1983 was the first time, and there was just too much else going on in your life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Including this one, which is another Jim Steinman song, Holding Out for a Hero. So.
All right. This is from the film Footloose, and they took me to a private theatre at the Paramount Studios to see the rushes of the film, the part of the film where this song was going to be placed, and it's where Kevin Bacon is on doing the chicken run thing, and his lace gets tied around the accelerator, and he gets the girl. But it did help to put a lot of power into it, because you could see that part was a very, very exciting part of the film.
Very, very exciting song. I Need a Hero, Holding Out for a Hero. That's Bonnie Tyler. It's a great energy track. That, isn't it?
I love doing it on stage, and everybody gets going to this, and it's just fun.
Yeah, it's a floor filler, an absolute floor filler. So there we are, we've got you in the Jim Steinman years. Big success.
Yeah, I did 2 albums with Jim. Yeah. And, it was an honour to work with him, I tell you. It was just wonderful, and I count my blessings that he's written songs for me,
Now, we talked earlier on about your early years playing, for many years in clubs and earning your
Before
dues.
recording, yeah.
All that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that, it seems to me anyway, it instilled in you just a love of performance. You just love doing it.
I do love doing it, yeah. And there's nothing like it, It's the best thing for me. It's a big part of my life, Of course, I love my family, and I love to be home and sometimes go on holidays with my friends. But to be on the stage is something else. This year alone now, I'm going to Hungary, Estonia, Germany. I might be going to Sydney. I'm not sure yet, but it hasn't been confirmed yet.
Right.
Yeah, and doing all shows with my band. Still got my band, They're all... like producers, and they write things, but we get together when we're doing shows.
Right, you come back and you perform as the band again,
yes.
And then go back to doing whatever it is they want to do the rest of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's your album, I've got it here, Rocks and Honey, the latest album.
Yes.
A lot of nice stuff on there.
Oh, it's a fabulous album. I really enjoyed making it. I changed the direction again, back to... because I recorded it in Nashville, and... all the songs are brand new. Every song is a new song. And, it's a good album. I'm quite proud of it.
So you should be. Because the reference Rocks and Honey, the Rocks is your voice, is that right?
Oh, that's right. And the Honey. Oh, there's a duet on there with Vince Gill.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, Vince Gill, wonderful. He's a country singer.
Yeah.
And, he's just been nominated to the Hall of Fame.
He's a terrific singer, Vince.
Oh,
Gill.
yes,
Beautiful
wonderful.
singer. So you've worked
I
with
hear him a lot on Whispering Bob's show.
Yes, he loves that sort of stuff. Yeah.
You ought to show him that.
Show him this
duet.
album. Bob, in here, look at this.
Yeah.
We'll play him a track from it right now.
Yeah.
All I Ever Wanted.
All I Ever Wanted is a power ballad, Should have done this for the Eurovision,
All right, well, let's have a listen to it and see if they've got it wrong last year. Chose the wrong song. There you are, you're in great form on that. All I Ever Wanted.
Yeah.
From the album Rocks and Honey. Fantastic. Great song.
Thank you.
Great song. And you deliver it fantastically. Beautiful stuff. Well, here we are now, almost at the end of our reminiscence. Eurovision last year, it didn't end the way we wanted it to.
No,
but you
it didn't
did
end
everything
the way we wanted it, but it wasn't for the want of trying, I did every interview that was thrown my way.
Oh, you did the lot.
And I enjoyed it, I was really threw myself in the deep end,
And it's a fun event, isn't it? Everybody's there in the same boat. All the other
I had
performers.
no idea it was going to be like that, It's... Molly does stand a good chance by that song. And she's written it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What a really great thing for her career,
Right at the beginning of her career to have this chance. I think
it's got everything in it, isn't it? The drums that you really need. It'll resound right around the room. I think we're in with a really good chance. I hope so.
I really hope so too. I think we can
do
something.
Good luck, Molly.
Good luck, Molly. We're all saying that.
Yeah.
Bonnie, thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed. Hope everybody stays tuned to BBC Radio 2 Eurovision, because Johnny Walker's coming up with his Eurovision sounds of the 70s. That's next. And at 8 p.m. tonight, you can hear the second semi-final live with commentary from Onomatronic. So that's coming up tonight, the second semi-final. But right now, Bonnie, we're going to ask you to sing us out with the song that should have won last year.
Oh, Believe in Me. Yeah.
We do. Bonnie, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.
Say you don't believe in signs from up above.